Today's guest, we got Chef Donny from Barstool Sports. Great guest. This guy has traveled all over the world cooking, learning different cultures, and making awesome content for Barstool Sports. Oh, yeah. And we also talked about his new cookbook, Not Your Mother's Cookbook. If you're a beginner, if you're an experienced cook, if you need to, learn just basically any type of food, fish, beef, chicken, breakfast, all that, in here. Go buy it on the Barstool Sports website. We talked about this and so much more in this interview. Let's get started. Today's guest, we have another guy from Barstool Sports. It is Chef Donny, content creator, the college cook, maybe the best cook in the game. I mean, still very young, but
That's a little much, but I appreciate it.
I got to hype you up a little bit. So you just dropped the first cookbook at Barstool Sports, Not Your Mother's Cookbook. I got it right here. I mean, I bought it. It is a great thing, great book for the holidays. If you are a new cook, if you're an experienced cook, it's perfect.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you buying it. Yeah, it's crazy to have a book out. I really just wanted to write a book for people that have never cooked before. They can pick it up. Because a lot of cookbooks, you have to like have some basic knowledge of cooking before, and
Right.
the book is pretty much useless. So I really want to just have a book that anybody can pick up, start from scratch, and really just like start to get in the kitchen and cook.
I have to say, you have recipes like just from the basics of just cooking bacon to then making like melt in your mouth beef tacos. So you got a mixture of everything you need.
Yeah, it really like I wanted to write a progressive book as it like you progress through, you get hard, it gets more and more challenging. So you start with the basics, you have like that chicken breast, that bacon, and then you can slowly build off those skills. And then by the end of the book, you're like making, like you said, the beef tacos or some of the fish dishes. So it really is like supposed to be a teaching book where you really do learn and then
Right.
get better as you progress through the book.
In the final page of the cookbook, you mention you give thanks to Dave and Erica and people just cooking for a while, and you mentioned that you were inspired and I wouldn't say inspired, but maybe you were just influenced by your uncle Chris to get
Yeah.
started into cooking. What was the situation, and was it like a light switch going off that you wanted to just start cooking for the rest of your
Yeah,
life?
I think it was. I mean, so he's always been a huge cook, and all the family reunions and gatherings, he's always cooking and in the kitchen. And when I was really young, he used to own a few restaurants out in New York City in the East Village where I live now. And growing up, I'd go visit him in his restaurants, and he took me back in the kitchen, and I really just saw like the craziness of a New York City restaurant kitchen when I was like really young, probably 10 years old, something like that. And then
Sure.
I just got hooked after that and started cooking with him whenever we would be together at family gatherings. And then, yeah, from there, it just became my way of creative expression was all through food.
You are from Minnesota.
Mhm.
I would say I have dealt in the Minnesota area. I lived in Minnesota for a year. I worked for the
Okay.
Minnesota Twins in 2018. And
Oh,
I've
nice.
yeah, I've really I love downtown Minneapolis. It is such a underrated place to live. It
Yeah.
is underrated when it comes to the bar scene, the
Mhm.
breweries, the restaurants. If you had to pick a restaurant that's one of your favorites down there, what would it be?
Spoon and Stable is an unbelievable restaurant right in North Loop, right next to the Bachelor Farmer, I believe is the name of the restaurant. Like two really good restaurants, but that
Yeah,
whole
I've
North
heard that.
Loop
Yep.
area is awesome. Yeah, like the cobblestone street. That's what I would pick for sure. Spoon and Stable. But yeah, Minneapolis, especially in the winter, it's cold. It can be a little
Yeah.
brutal. But the summertime, man, it's a tough city to be right with the lakes right there in the Mississippi. It's pretty beautiful in the summer.
Absolutely. I mean, I've spent my couple days in Lake Minnetonka. I've had my
Yeah.
good fun over there. But with your uncle's influence here in New York, and then you bring it back to Minnesota, you went to the University of Minnesota. Is that right?
I went to Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. Right. I always get the
Yeah, not far. Yeah.
confusion.
Yeah.
Not too far. But the thing is that you brought your cooking skills to college. You developed this show, or the idea of the show, the college cooking show, where
Yeah.
you were the very first episode I remember seeing on your Instagram is, cooking basic eggs. And
Yep.
then
Yep.
when you had this idea and then you kind of wanted to venture out and travel a little bit, when the college cooking thing came into play, was there like a wake up call? Like I need to like kind of spread out and go travel. Like
Basically,
you
like,
traveled everywhere.
yeah, yeah. God. The college cook really started. So in school, I had the idea because everybody missed home cooking, and like that's one thing. Yeah, as freshmen, you're eating dorm or you're eating like a dining hall food, and it's bullshit. And you get really sick of it. And nobody cooks in school, and nobody has that home cooked meal. So the college cook started before the videos. It started as a catering company where I
Right.
would go just to people's apartments or even in my kitchen, I had people come through like a mini restaurant, and I would just cook for them, cooked home cooked meals. So that's really how it started, was catering. I catered a grad party, like kind of like way out of my comfort zones for 150 people. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like, no problem. I was like a little in over my head, but it worked out. It was a
Right.
success. So that's how it started. And then I transitioned that into, I partnered with a bar in Madison, the College Club. And I asked the owner if I could run a late night food menu. So I was running my own menu at night. And then on weekends, I actually made a pop-up brunch restaurant. I hired a few other cooks, dishwasher servers, and I ran like a little restaurant on Sundays. But then junior year, all my friends were going abroad, and I didn't even think about it because I was doing all this cooking shit, like
Right.
running, a little business. I was like, yeah, like I don't like, there's no way I have time. But then, a week before the semester ended, all my friends were packing up and leaving, and I was like, fuck, like, am I missing out on a huge opportunity to travel? And by that point, it was too late to get into any program. So I kind of just said, fuck it, I'll make my own abroad. Like I'll take classes online, which in theory I was going to do it. I ended up dropping them all, but I made my own. I bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, and then from there just backpacked my way around Asia and like Central Asia, Southeast Asia. I made it to like Japan and Korea where I met Donny. But yeah, and
Right.
I ate and cooked. Like I kind of ran out of money, so I was cooking at hostels and doing chores around to like stay for free. I was really just like bumming at one point because a month and a half in, I was
Crazy.
like, fuck, I'm out of money and I had to do this for 2 more months. So it was
That's
quite the adventure.
nuts. Because we see it from social media from afar that you're we knew you were backpacking just from the places you might be staying at, but I didn't know you kind of like the running out of money problem,
Yeah,
which is
dude.
kind of tough. You run out of money and here in the States, like you're at home with your parents or you're staying at a friend's place. You're in you're a third world country and you're
Yeah.
like, I have nothing. So like
But thank God it's like cheap over there. So it was like, it worked out in that sense. But yeah, you had to kind of get creative. And I hitchhiked a bunch and just like took the cheap, like public transport out. There's like 5 cents to ride the bus, but you don't know where it's going all the time.
dude,
So
I mean, I'm sure you got the most ridiculous stories that
yeah, it
of
was fun.
hitchhiking and just, I mean, the you mentioned meeting Donnie.
Yes.
That so were you a Barstool fan were you a fan of Donnie's before meeting him?
I knew who he was. Like I knew I wasn't a huge Barstool was still like pretty new to me. I knew what it was, and like I
Sure.
followed like like part of my tag I listened to. But my friends, I had some East Coast friends that went to Madison with me, and they kind of turned me on to it. They were huge. So I was familiar, and I watched Donnie stuff, and because I was into traveling, so I knew who he was. I knew of him, and I liked his videos. I wouldn't say I was like a crazy diehard fan, but I was definitely like familiar with him. And then a
Right.
friend of mine connected me. He's like, hey, he's gonna be in Korea. And I just like tweeted, he tweeted if any Americans are gonna be around, like let's meet up because there weren't many of us out
Sure.
there. And then he connected me. He's like, yo, you should like hit this Donny guy up, meet up with him. So like that's how that happened. I met him at a bar. I had been there a little longer than him and kind of showed him the spots around in Korea. And we got fucked up one night. And then we kind of like jokingly, he was like, hey, if you're ever in China, I could use an intern. And I never thought I'd be in China. So I was like, yeah, man, like that sounds great. And then like a month later, I'm in China. And I hit him back up. I was like, yo, is that offer still on the table? I could really, need a place to crash and a job or something to get
Sure.
by. So it worked out crazy, but yeah, that's how we met.
Was there did you have any like camera or producing content creating like experience prior to that?
No, I mean, I told him I did. I was like, yeah, I know how to edit. I know how
That's the
to
way to go. That's the way to
film.
go.
But
You gotta lie through your teeth sometimes.
I had no prior experience. I was interested always in like film and like editing, like making like little videos, but never any like perfect, like what the level I needed to do what I'm doing now. No, but I was able to teach myself very fast. Like the same way with cooking, I kind of taught myself. Like I think I'm able to teach myself, especially like a skill like this, which is another like creative outlet for expression. So like it kind of just came to me relatively easily. And then I've always been into photography, so like that was kind of cool to actually get a camera and be able just to fuck around. And being in China, you're on the other side of the world, so the time change is different. So social media, there's nothing to do during the day. Everyone back home was asleep, so it really just gave me time, and I wasn't really going out. So like I had all the free time in the world just to learn that. So it was kind of like the perfect combination. And then once I picked it up, yeah, it was I became proficient and it became my job really after that.
Do you think you've traveling the world, meeting Donnie, having all these experiences, when it comes to like, I guess, other content creators that are kind of like in the same space with you, cooking and self-expression, how much of a leg up do you think you have against other people because you've had this other experiences traveling and cooking, meeting other cultures and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say I have like a leg up on anyone because of that, because I never like can't really like shame anyone for not traveling. Like yeah, I've been fortunate, very fortunate, very lucky in some senses to like be able to see and do what I've done. But I think it just gives you like a broader outlook on life really and on the world. I think it just makes you like much more open to trying anything, which like that I think that's a skill. That's to be a creator that's always like interested and down to do whatever. I think that's like a huge um a benefit to doing anything is always being open. And I think traveling really helps you be uncomfortable and open. That too, like some of the places you go, like it's not comfortable. So like being able to like change your comfort level always is
Sure.
like beneficial to always kind of be uncomfortable is like a good place to be, I think.
So you work with Donnie and then you come to the States again and you're interning still at Barstool.
Mhm.
When did you kind of get the okay to jump over to other projects like with Caleb and Rowan doing the Storm Chasers thing when you got
Right.
arrested, which I would love the story about that in a second.
Sure.
And then
Sure.
also working with Call Her Daddy also and kind of and being the camera guy
Yep.
and being in that kind of world.
Right. So let's see. So I got back after China. I came back as an intern with Donny in New York for that first summer, like my internship summer. And Caleb and Rona actually went to Paris with them to film behind the scenes for the World Cup. So that was my first time working with them when I was still an intern. And then after that, I like went back to school and was kind of like, fuck, like I don't know why I'm still in school. I was my senior year. I kind of knew I wanted to be at Barstool. I definitely knew I wanted to be at Barstool. So I thought it was just a waste of time to go back, and I didn't want to lose the connection. So I hit
Right.
Donnie back up and moved back out to China, and I was still an intern. And then after that stint, I did like 6 more months out there in China. My would have been my senior spring semester. Came back, and then after that is when I got hired on full time. And then from there, I was more of like a producer. So I started working with Caleb and Rome more, and then I tried to do the Portno. I was Dave's Frankie replacement for like I did that for about a month, 2 months, where I was following Dave around doing pizza reviews, editing for him, which was awesome. Like I got to get close to Dave and like very hard job, difficult, but
Sure.
amazing experience. So like then that's what kind of when I started working with other people. I did some stuff with Chicklets, and then Call Her Daddy most recently. Alex and I shot for her this summer. She needed someone to go to LA, and we worked well together. So I've done a few more trips with her, and I might still be shooting for her. And then Donnie, when he needs me, if he's going abroad, like he was just in Colombia, he asked if I was available for that, and of course I was down to travel again. So kind of thing. Like I kind of became like I don't know what you want to call it, just like a producer that I'm
Swiss Army knife
not
of
tied to anyone. Yeah,
content
yeah.
stuff.
Like this past summer is when like I kind of opened up, and then now more recently, just doing my own thing, doing my cooking shows, become more of a focus as well.
Talk to me about the relationship with Alex Cooper because I think everyone knows that she's this big personality, says what's on her mind. She seems nice from what I've heard. She seems nice off the camera. Like you kind of guess I get like the real her, I guess. But talk
Yeah,
to me about the relationship with her and working with her, and then also being in LA and meeting Miley Cyrus and having that whole
that was
interaction.
great. No, working with Alex has been amazing. It's been awesome. She's like I don't know where anything that comes from that people are like, oh, she's like this and that. She's amazing. She's super nice, super down to earth, and like very good, like really good at what she does, and very professional. Like we're gonna do this, bang, we bang it out. Like there's never any stress, never any. She's like very easygoing. Yeah, she's and good, like fun to be around. Always good energy. And then the Miley Cyrus thing was insane. It
That's
was
wild.
like we we find out we're interviewing her, and it's like going to be at her house in Malibu, or not in Malibu, up in the Beverly Hills. And we found out that day we all need to get COVID testing. Like it's only be like a small group of people allowed in, like this and that. So I was like, all right, like whatever. We got our COVID test, and then like, as we're driving up, I'm like, fuck, we don't have an audio engineer. Usually for like big guests like this, we have like a sound guy with the boom and everything. And I was kind of just thinking like that's kind of odd that we don't have this for that. Like, but I was like, all right, whatever. Like I'll be able to handle it because I do video really well, but audio, like it's not my forte. I know enough about it, like how to set everything up, but I'm not an audio engineer by any standard. So anyway, we get up there, and then the cable is like it was working before we recorded the day before that, but for some reason when we're at Miley's house, it's just all static in the mic. Like she's talking and then static, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is not fucking happening. And I had a backup plan. I had like these mini cables, but then they would have been like this. Like it was not ideal. But then out of nowhere, Miley Cyrus is like, wait, like I think I'm gonna save your life right now. And she sprints over to the garage. She comes back with the exact cable I need. She goes, is this gonna work?
Wow.
And then we plug it in, crisp audio, like perfect interview, goes really well. But I mean, just meeting Miley Cyrus was amazing. And then her like saving my ass, and then like just being so down to earth and so cool was like, it was fucking awesome.
Didn't she say she was hot? Did you say you were hot? Right?
There's a clip, yeah. She when I was testing the new cable, she's like, "Oh my god, I hope I saved Hottie," or something like that, like referencing me. So like that's always nice. You can't that helps a little bit, nice boost. But yeah, it was either way, it was insane.
You gotta clip that, save it forever, and whenever
our PR made me take it down. She's like let's not keep that up. But I had it up.
Oh shit, really? Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I guess her team needed to approve of like all the footage and what I get, but like that was at least it was up for a little bit, so enough people saw it. But yeah, I'll always have that one.
And then there's the Storm Chasers one that I really like. Well, there's a couple. There's the Paris one where you get, I think was it
tear gas.
Not mace, tear gas, right?
Riot, yeah.
And then there's Storm Chasers one, right?
So Caleb and Ron are always a blast to travel with. Anytime they need me to do something, if I can do it, I'm always in, because I love traveling around with those guys. You never know what you're gonna get into. But the Paris was crazy. Like I just met Caleb, and it was a pop punk concert the night before, and I was still new intern, probably a month in, and they were all chilling in the green room. And I knew Caleb was going to Paris, and I'm fluent in French. I've been speaking it since I was
interesting. Okay.
Went to like an immersion school. But anyway, I told Caleb, I'm like, hey, I know you're going to France. If you need to learn like a few, like I can teach you some quick French right now. We're drinking, we're like smoking in the green room, like whatever. What was I going to teach him? Anyway, he's like, dude, why don't you just fucking come to France? We're going tomorrow. You speak French. Just come with us. You know how to film. We want to do it behind the scenes. And then Eric was right there. He's like, Erica, can Donny come to France? He speaks French. And she's like, bullshit. So I spoke a few things in French. She's like, all right, like, I guess. So I go, like the next day I was going to Paris. And then, but we were, long story short, so I'm kind of rambling, but we made it to wherever we were trying to watch the game was too crowded. The cops were like not having it. Everyone was running around the place. It was crazy. They were trying to get the crowd. So then out of nowhere, we're just getting we're in the middle of like the riot police storming everybody out with tear gas. That shit's blowing up. My eyes are burning. So I'd never been tear gas before. That was crazy. It really felt like high adrenaline. We're just fucking like running as like smoke bombs are blowing up all over the place. That was fun. And then throughout the night, there was more just like random, like not like bombs, but little like fireworks. People were just throwing all over the place. I looked back on that video recently. And I was like, damn, that was a hell of a trip. And then Storm Chasers, we got there. Everyone never knows the video now of me and Caleb getting dragged out. But we got there right away. We knew there was gonna be a problem because the Yukon police came down, like, you guys can't be here or whatever. Then they left. And then while they left, Caleb, we had a plan. The plan was, all right, you know what? No matter what, we're not leaving. We're gonna like, if we get dragged out, we're all going limp. We're getting dragged out. So I was like, all right,
go limp, right?
Like, sounds good. And then lo and behold, we're getting pulled out. Caleb and Rowan get up and fuck. Caleb put up a little bit of a fight, but then like I think he thought he was gonna get tased. So he's like, all right, I don't want to get tased. Like I'm out. Rowan got up and left, and then I was just like, fuck it. Someone has to get dragged out. So I stayed to the plan, got dragged out. I had the camera up the whole time, which was a blast. I was worried that the cops were going to try to delete that shit after. Thank God they didn't. But yeah, that was another one. It was so fun because I knew in the back of my head I was getting arrested for a work event. So no matter what, like we were going to be covered, I felt. So it wasn't like, fuck, I'm getting arrested. It was more like, damn, like we're getting arrested. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
I meant to keep those stories. That's my fault. I meant to keep those stories for the end for the IG game I usually play, but we'll use that anyway as the two.
Got it.
And
Okay.
I'll say another one here. I'll if you open up your phone, this is what I do. So I usually DM you the
Okay.
video or photo, and then you got to give me a reaction to it.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find another one here. Oh, this is I think let's see. Oh yeah, this one. This one was really interesting to me because I'm a big baseball fan, played my whole life. Let's see, where's your name there? Played my whole life, played in college, and you're
Ah,
with Donnie and
yeah.
you're playing this baseball stick game in this random village in
Yeah.
what was it, Tajikistan, right?
Tajikistan. Yeah.
Tajikistan,
Right.
right.
Right. South of Afghanistan. Yeah.
Tell me about that trip and
Okay.
doing that game.
That trip was fucking to this day. That like I've been to a lot of cool places. That was like Central Asia was that place was fucking dope. That was really, really cool. So this game, I forgot the name of the game. It's blanking on me, but basically like a small village game. You're driving up to a hot spring, like a 12-hour drive, basically in the
Sure.
middle of nowhere. Beautiful though, right in the mountain, like the mountains of Tajikistan, where like you can see Afghanistan in the distance, and behind you just all these snow-capped mountains. There's yaks like walking around. But then we pull over the road. These guys are playing. Like we're like, what are they playing? We asked Jamal, our guide. I forget the name, but he's like, oh, you guys want to play? So we got out, and it's like a very rudimentary baseball-ish game where you have a stick, you hit another stick, or the stick flies up, and you just fucking you whack it, and then you try like they try to catch it as you would in baseball, and if they don't catch it, you score. I don't know how like the exact point system worked, but it was fun. We played for a little bit. Like stuff like that's always fun. There's no we can't talk the language barrier, so
Right.
strong, but you play a game like that, you can all connect and just laugh, and it's still a really good time. But Tajikistan was a crazy trip. We got there, like when we landed, I'll give you like a quick story. So we landed, and you need visas to get in, but to buy the visas, you needed like the Tajik currency, which we didn't have, and the only ATM was outside of the customs. So like we were just stuck in this spot between you can buy a visa here, but you need the money, and you can't get the money
Right.
because you have to go out. So we're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? We're kind of stranded. Jamal, our guide who drove us around, character in like his own right. The guy was hilarious. But anyway, Donnie was able to like talk to him on the phone. Jamal's able to bribe the border patrol, like the border guard, come in, get Donnie to come out. Like Donnie got out of the country, like out of the border without having to have a visa or show his passport. Went to an ATM, got money, like gave it to the guard, and then got back and like and got our visa. So we were like basically had to bribe our
Dude,
way into the country.
that's like scary shit right there.
Yeah,
Holy
it was a little
shit.
bit.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could have gotten like, I mean, you said before about how you got arrested and did the storm chasers thing. You're like, all right, well, it's a company thing. We'll get like bailed out, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think Barstool will be
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
say,
no, it's a little different with that kind of shit. Yeah,
yeah,
no, definitely, especially in like like Tajikistan is like, I mean, it's not exactly the safest place. We had found out, we didn't know this until we were driving around, but ISIS had just killed somebody like a week before, like right where we were. So it was kind of like,
dude,
not probably not, and like the KGB. We were staying in a hotel, and like they're like, oh yeah, like don't cross, like don't like the hotel guy. They're like, whatever you do, don't walk like too far like to this house next door because that's the KGB and like you'll get like don't go that like don't come
dude,
that's
holy
KGB.
shit. You're like, you're like around terrorists and shit. No, no big deal.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that looking back now, it's probably like that might have been a little dangerous, but in the moment, like
For the
fuck,
story. You had to do it for the
yeah,
story.
you don't know. And Donnie and I are just walking around aimlessly like with our cameras and shit. Like who fucking knows what could have happened? But yeah, nothing did. So looking back, who knows? But it was in the moment, what a trip, what a time.
I'll give one more, and it's the most recent thing you did, where it was in Colombia with Donnie. And
Okay.
the video here, it's you paragliding.
The paragliding video. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went our last day in Colombia. We went paragliding, which is awesome. Like I don't know if you know this, but like skydiving is my one of my favorite pastimes aside from cooking. I got my license this past summer, so whenever I can get up in the air and do something like that, I'm always down. And Donnie wanted to go paragliding, so we're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was like a 15-minute ride under canopy around like above the neighborhoods in the mountains and then down into the city. It was like Medellin was beautiful, beautiful city. Colombia is an amazing country. I recommend anyone go because it's like pretty cheap to go and it's very safe. It's not like Colombia 10 years ago where it was very dangerous. Now it's
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I mean, there's some cities probably not that they would say not to go to, but Medellin is amazing. Guatape is amazing. There's some really good spots there.
I mean, that whole trip, just from seeing, we haven't seen the actual footage, but you are like the other lens. You're our eyes, and I
Right.
saw your whole story. The photos you took. It seemed like, to me, it looked like one of your most enjoyable trips you've done.
Yeah, I had a blast. Yeah, it was very very enjoyable. It was like a little bit more relaxed than some of the other places we've been, where it's like Africa, we were on the move all. It's like, you know what I mean. This was more like the little toned down, a little more just kind of wandering around, filming whatever. But and it was great weather. You can't complain. It's beautiful weather
Sure.
all the time. So yeah, it was. I wish I spoke more Spanish. I want to go back, but you really do need a good level of Spanish to get the full experience. So that'll be next if I want to go back. But yeah, it was awesome.
And you were hanging out with Pablo Escobar's, was it
We met his
cousin,
brother.
brother?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
his brother. Yeah, Roberto Escobar. Like he
that's
still lived
wild.
in the house that. Yeah, it was crazy. He was like right in the mix. He did like 10 years in federal prison for
Holy
whatever.
shit.
I think they said like he's still like doing some cartel shit now. Like you never know. But yeah, we got to meet him, so that was cool.
That's wild. I'm always interested in all that kind of stuff because the rumor is that he still has hundreds of millions of dollars
Oh,
buried
yeah,
and shit
yeah.
like
I'm
that.
sure.
So
I'm sure. Yeah.
the cooking competitions you've been involved in, you did
Yeah.
Chopped, and you did the Willie Cologne cooking competition
Yeah.
on Barstool. And what sucks is that you are by far the better cook out of anybody in either show, and you didn't win either of them.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't go your way. What can you do? Oh well. But I had fun on both of them. It's always a good time doing stuff like that.
The Chopped is, like, I would say, for any young cook or any cook in general that's not famous chef, that's got to be a bucket list thing for you.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I mean, the opportunity just to go on that show and cook. Martha Stewart was a judge, like being able to cook
Right.
for her, and Scott Conan, they're all legends. Was crazy. So just the fact that I was able to get on the show, I was happy with. And my goal going into it was just make it past round one. Don't be the first one to lose, because then at least you've done something. So after that, it was just kind of like playing with house money. I was having a good time, but I thought I had put a good performance on it, and I was little disappointed I didn't take home the win, but you know what? I made it to all the way to the end. They got the same amount of airtime. They got to make all the rounds, all the dishes. So I had a blast doing that. That was a great time. And that fucking clock is real, man. It goes by fast. So
Really?
it was a
I've
cool.
always I've always wondered how fast does it actually go?
Dude, it
And I
goes
mean,
legitimately like 20 minutes and then 30 and 30. But yeah, and you don't know what you're gonna make until you actually open it. So it's pretty legit. And yeah, you just have to go.
that separates to me. That separates the like the saying goes, like, separates from the men from the boys, where you can legit just open it up, and then, like, I would say within 10 seconds you kind of have some sort of an idea of what you want
Yeah,
to cook.
and then once you have the idea, you can't change it. Like you gotta kind of just like you're like you don't have time to change it, so you have to roll with it. And just I remember that I was a shit show, just fucking running over all the place, like spilling shit. But I had a blast, and I just kind of blacked out during it. I kind of just went into autopilot,
Right.
like all right, whatever, you know what I mean? And but it was fun. Long day though. I got there at 5 a.m. and didn't leave until 7 p.m.
Oh shit,
So
a
like
whole
yeah,
day like that.
the whole
Wow.
shit, like people don't realize how like long like TV stuff takes. Like the
Yeah.
actual cooking is fast, but then you have like the all right, I walk out now. All right, guys, let's do it again. Like, all right, like, let's try that one more time. Like this and that. Like, and then they have to
No
re-clean
more
the
cursing. Don't be doing that. Right.
yeah, they told me that a few times. They're like, the producer said, "Hey, Martha Stewart's a little bit more old school. Like, let's try to lose a few f bombs." I was like, "Bro, I can't. I mean, I'm in the middle of this. I'll try my best, but no promises." They were able to cut it up though, so I didn't. I thought I was not going to get any speaking lines in there, but they managed to find enough clean shit to use. So whatever.
And then go into the cooking competition at Barstool with all your coworkers. Willie Cologne is the host. It's totally different, unfiltered. You're doing your own thing. You get, like, if you pass like the first challenge and you get the ingredients. If you don't, you do it on your own. And
Yeah.
I thought that was, it was a one-time thing because of the sponsorship, but I
Right.
think they should somehow bring that back.
Yeah, I think we probably will in some capacity. Cooking stuff always does well, and everyone enjoys it. It's like fun content to make and to watch. So I'm sure we'll do more of that in the future. But yeah, that was fun. It was a good competition. Didn't win, but it was still a good time.
Who inspires you when it comes to cooking? Who is the chef that you looked up to when you started because your uncle told you,
Yeah,
you kind of showed you the way, but then as you got older, you kind of, a little more experience, you kind of look into
yeah,
certain other cooks. Who is
sure.
that one
I
cook?
was super inspired by Jamie Oliver was big when I was young. He's a British chef. Really just like had a cool approach, I thought, to food and to cooking. And he's kind of like more loose and not as like strict like some chefs. So like I gravitated towards him when I was young. And then like Bobby Flay, honestly, like I grew up watching him like for like all the breakfast because I was really into breakfast, and he had a show like just about breakfast or brunch, I believe it was. So I kind of gravitated towards them when I was young, and now I'm like looking more towards like the chef. His name is Grant Crilly. He's out in Seattle. He's doing like
Yeah.
really cool like gastronomy type cooking. Grant Anchez, who's the chef at Alinea. So like now it's a kind of a different, like, as much as I can absorb from, there's so many great chefs out there. So like I'll watch anybody, I'll take advice from anyone, I'll read anybody's book. Like there's cooking such a it's always changing, and there's no right way to do something. There's multiple ways to achieve the same goal, and everyone has their kind of own way. So really, to make your own path is like just kind of combining different things and learning, taking something from this and that, and then you kind of make your own that way. But there's just so much out there that I can't really point to one
Sure.
specific person now. But when I was young, those were definitely my heavy influences.
I'm a huge fan of Roy Choi out in California.
Okay. Yep.
He's like, he helped John Favreau make the Chef movie, and
Yep. Yep.
they have his own show, and then the Kogi trucks. I was in California 2 years ago, and I legit searched everywhere. I found, I follow them on Twitter, so they kind of post where the
Right.
spot's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was there for 5 days, but I was there one day by myself. So I was like, two things. I'm going to the Comedy Store one for the night, and then I want to just try finding the truck. And every time they fucking moved, I was like an hour late.
Oh,
It
that's
pissed me off
so,
because I that's like a goal for me. I'm a huge food fanatic.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
watch Fuck That's Delicious all the time. Is there a point in your career that you want to have some sort of travel cooking show, like Travel Network or something like that, or even bring
Um,
that kind of style to Barstool, or just
Yeah,
keep doing the
definitely to
cooking show
Barstool.
like what you're doing
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. I'd love to do more of that. I think who knows, like the state of the world, once traveling is like easier to do, I think is
Sure.
really kind of when things can start to expand. But yeah, I would love to do more like food travel and like food focused kind of adventure type show, like maybe like extreme sports with food with travel, like kind of all in one at Barstool would be an awesome show to have. So who knows? Like there's a lot of time, and I'm sure something like that will maybe hopefully come down the line, but we'll see. There's a got it's kind of on pause right now.
My last question. This is one I say a lot. I don't know how familiar with the photo. It's a famous photo of Gabrielle Union, D Wade, Chris Paul, and LeBron James on a banana boat. I know
Yeah. Okay. I've seen
PMT
photos.
loves to make fun of it.
Yep.
If you had, so it's you and three others, who would be on that banana boat, and the reasons why? You're on vacation, wherever your destination is, but
Three
who
others,
would be
like
on
from
it?
The Office,
Doesn't matter. It could be from The Office, could be from Friends, it could be
celebrities.
celebrities, people that are dead, like a Bourdain. Like it doesn't even matter.
Oh, okay. Okay. So three people to be on. Okay. Let me
I
think.
have a feeling. I have a feeling with a couple, but I would love to hear yours, and then I'll just maybe if I'm right.
Okay. Um. All right. So first, I'm taking like Travis Pastrana, just
Wow,
for like
that was out of left field. I
yeah,
didn't see that
that's
one.
out of left field. Just because like fucking you want that banana boat to go faster to fly. Fucking he's the guy to
That's
bring.
absolutely.
So for like a crazy ass element, I'm bringing him. I know you said this, but I'm gonna steal Anthony Bourdain just because I think you gotta have that element of it too, just the wise traveler and the storyteller. And then who am I bringing? Who's the third? I gotta bring Guy Fieri. That's my
That's
guy,
big,
dude.
dude. That's huge. That is your guy.
That's my guy. Yeah, man. He's a legend. He gets a lot of flack online, or like people clown on him all the time, but the dude is legit. Like as enough people will say like whatever, but he's a legit chef, legit cook, and all around just really good dude as well. So yeah, those are my three.
Who would you cook for, or who would you want to be? You work side by side as like the sous chef, for like any kind of chef, because I mentioned how
Okay,
much
yeah.
you like Bourdain and Guy.
Okay, his name is Francis Mallman. He's a chef from Argentina, and he cooks. He's got a crazy life philosophy. He's actually on one of the episodes of Chef's Table, if you've seen that show.
Yeah, I've seen
His
it.
philosophy on life is he's never in one place for more than like a few weeks. He's always traveling around, like no matter.
Wow.
He's cooking always in like the wilderness, in the woods, over open fire, and just like a very free flowing person. So if I could cook alongside him and kind of like have some of his lifestyle rub off on me, he would be the guy. Francis Mallman. He's a legend.
That's, I mean, perfect way to end it. And Chef Donny, he's got the best cookbook in the game. Not Your Mother's Cookbook. Tell him where to buy it. Tell him where to follow you. Where we going?
Okay, you can check the book out. It's at if you just go to barstoolsports.com/store and just search cookbook or Donny, Chef Donny, whatever, it'll come up right away. That's where you can find the book. And then I'm Chef Donny on Instagram, chef.donny with 2 Y's, DONNYY, and then Chef Donny on Instagram, TikTok, or on Twitter, YouTube, everything else that'll come up. So yeah. And then the link to buy the book is in my bio as well if you still can't find it. So it's all out there.
Go buy the book. It is a must to have for any new cook, experienced cook. Chef Donny, Don, I appreciate you coming on, man. Always welcome, and I'm a big fan of yours.
Awesome, man. It was fun. Thanks for having me on.
Hold on. I know you just watched that video. It's pretty good because you watched the whole thing. You made it this far. Just click that subscribe button. It's not that hard. I know you watched some other things, but was it as good as this? I don't think so, since you watched the whole thing. You enjoyed it. I know you did. You're nodding your head right now, and it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it, Taylor. I like it. I want to watch more. Click the button.